I fully understand that, not only has this been sort of reported by some others and talked about by you, me, and many others on our very desk, including, some of our guests who've come on. The street has bandied about this Perplexity idea. Do we take in any way the continued reporting that what was a little bit of smoke seems to be gathering into a potential fire?
Not really, because these reports are also saying these discussions are internal. And so, yes, of course, Apple's going to kick the tires around anything that could make sense, that could fit in. Mistral is an interesting one because it's an open source model that would be a way for them to kind of buy a model themselves and bring that in and then build on top of that. But it just doesn't sound like that's the direction they're going, because at the same time, Scott, we're getting these reports that they want to license a large language model from one of the leaders, whether that's ChatGPT or OpenAI, whether that's Anthropic, whether that's Google, and figure out a good one that they can build on top of there. So instead of buying Perplexity, which does build on top of those models, why not just license it just like Perplexity does? Instead of buying Perplexity, just pull a Perplexity, so to speak, and do it yourself. So it seems to be that's the direction they're moving. Tim Cook also, Scott, hinted a little bit at that on the earnings call a few weeks ago, saying he was asked, do you think these models have become commoditized? He didn't say yes in so many words, but he did say, if I talked more about that, it's going to kind of give away our strategy. I read into that they really are looking to partner rather than build or acquire.
Yeah. Steve, thanks for the insight. We've been following. I mean, the stock has obviously had a nice move. It's up 9% month to date. So there's been, we've talked about the détente between Tim Cook, CEO of Apple, of course, and the president. If that's in fact what was needed, it's only been beneficial to the shares. If you take a look at the month to date move there, Malcolm, that's Steve Kovac, of course. Malcolm, you own the stock.
Yep.
We've had this conversation before.
Yep.
About Perplexity. You want this to happen?
I want this to happen, but I'm not as excited as some others are probably feeling right now listening to that headline. I think that my unpopular opinion, the reporting that we got last month that JP Morgan Chase and Apple are a lot closer now than they were before to solidifying a partnership to replace Goldman in their credit card business is more additive to Apple's earnings over the next 12 months than acquiring Perplexity if they were to get that deal done today. It's going to take 12, 24, 36 months for Apple's designers and Perplexity's engineers to get on the same page and decide what it actually means when they incorporate their search engine into Apple's products. We just saw the botched rollout with ChatGPT 5. We saw OpenAI have to walk that back and bring previous versions back into existence because it just didn't work right. Some people wanted to think deeply, other people want a quick answer. So this is not going to be an open and shut thing where suddenly Apple just takes the lead and leapfrogs everybody else. It'll be great when it finally gets there, but it's going to take some time.
Josh, Dan Ives has said, I mentioned the Wall Street commentary around this idea. The clock has struck midnight on Apple's AI strategy. Perplexity is the answer. Bank of America in the past. In our opinion, any such deal would likely be positive for shares. UBS paints this as a defensive move in nature and not a positive catalyst. That seems to be a bit of an outlier perspective. Yes, they may have missed the AI boat, so to speak, but if you jump back into it in such a big way, I'm wondering what you think this could mean for the stock that you own.
I think if they do it, you get a new all-time high in Apple the day they announce it. I think this is what everyone who is holding shares of Apple and believes that this will remain a relevant company for the next 10 years into the AI generation wants them to do. And not only that, they want the founder of Perplexity under the wing of Tim Cook. Could even be like a potential successor after a number of years running the AI business. If we truly believe that AI is going to be the most important technological revolution since electricity, which is effectively, I think, the house view of Silicon Valley, then you want one of the earliest and most talented entrepreneurs in the space. The other alternative, Judge, is to piecemeal jump into people's DMs like Mark Zuckerberg and do one-off, let's buy small stakes or big stakes in all these different startups. Let's recruit people away from other companies. this is a case where buying it makes more sense than building it and might actually even end up being cheaper in the long run. Perplexity is right now said to be looking to raise around in the $20 billion valuation area. I want to point out that Apple has $130 some odd billion in cash on their balance sheet. And yes, I understand they also have debt. A lot of that is just strategic, the way they're managing their money. I'm sure they're earning something on all that cash. That's fine. The street's not giving them credit for that. The street doesn't care about that. We already know this company is capable of generating oceans and oceans of dollars. The last thing I would say is I'm okay with a partnership, too, as a long-term Apple shareholder. Having Google pay them $50 billion to be the default browser on iOS devices was a masterstroke. And I think up until recently, it worked out well for both companies. There is a world where Apple finds a really great partnership. The problem is the people they have partnered with so far, OpenAI, are already in deep with Microsoft. So I like Apple doing something like this. I don't predict that they will. They tend not to do deals, as Kovac just pointed out.
Yeah,
but I think the stock makes an all-time high if they do it.